Hello, and welcome to a production of MLJ Publishing Group. This video will cover the process of requesting your private medical records, whether it is from a small clinic or a large regional healthcare system. No two sources of medical records have the same system of retrieving your own medical records, much less someone else's. For the purposes of this tutorial, we will cover getting your own records. I birthed this tutorial with the military veteran in mind, but this process would be the same for all medical patients. Some background. When the military veteran executes a compensation claim with the VA or the Veterans Administration, typically the process will require the need for medical records, whether they are already at the VA or from your private doctor. The VA will give the veteran a choice. Via a form request, the VA can request your private medical records on your behalf, or you can request them and submit them later with your claim. Well, without a doubt, and this doesn't require any hesitation on my part, it is always faster to get your own records, whether it's in a paper or electronic form yourself. It is always faster to get your own records, and in most cases, they're free, which I will explain later in this presentation. Let's get started. First, let's get some legalese out of the way. I am not affiliated with the Veteran Affairs in any shape or form. MLJ Publishing Group does not assist veterans with the preparation, presentation, and prosecution of the actual VA disability claims for VA benefits. This presentation video is for information purposes only and should not be a substitute for important VA, legal, healthcare communications with your respective advisors. MLJ Publishing Group or its representatives does not guarantee results, and any desired results regarding VA claims may vary due to each VA claim is unique based on the particulars with each veteran. Before we go any further, I think it's only appropriate for me to introduce myself. My name is Marvin Jenkins. I am a recently retired IT specialist with over 20 years in the federal government. I am also a 7-year U.S. Army veteran who spent the last 4 years as a 74 Fox programmer analyst. I believe that MOS is now 25 Bravo. Anyway, I know I'm about to carbon date myself, but I got interested in computers once I started watching CBS's Lost in Space many moons ago. The original, not the new remakes with the fantastic special effects. It was that original series with the cheesy special effects that I started my interest in computers. From the 9th grade in high school, I knew what I wanted to do when I graduated. I did so at a time when there was probably not a single computer of any kind in my small, rural Arkansas town. And as they say, the rest is history. Now, let's get into the subject matter. Next, you will see the webpage where patients of one of the Midwest's largest healthcare providers can visit online to request their medical records. The instructions are clear, simple, and not long at all. Easy peasy. On this particular form, like most forms, it needs your basic information such as full name, address, date of birth, contact numbers, and a previous name or names if applicable. You need to specify the name of the provider and its address to whom you are authorizing the release of information for legal purposes. Now we need to make clear what format and to whom the medical records are disclosed. In this case, are the records going to you or third parties such as a law firm, Veterans Administration, or another person or agency? Whether it's a paper bundle in the mail or pickup at the front desk, PDF via secure website, or picking up CDs or USB drive from the receptionist. Your options will be determined by the resources of the provider. Expect your options to change from provider to provider. Rural or smaller providers will have less options as to how your records are given, and the larger providers will have more and sadly will also determine whether or not a fee is involved. Larger providers can afford resident or off-site document management systems to assist their employees, which in most cases make record storage and retrieval a breeze. The easier to retrieve your medical records usually translate to reduce or no fees to get them. I requested my medical records last year, and I downloaded the needed form in a PDF format. Because my handwriting is not the best, I decided to complete my form using a PDF editor. I may cover some free PDF editors in a later video. Using that, I completed the form, printed it so I could sign it as usual. Then I scanned it again to return it to an electronic format, such as a PDF. I may also cover some low-cost multifunction printers, also in a later video. Then, following the instructions of the provider, I simply email that completed form with my signature and date to the email address listed on its webpage. Then later, I received the confirmation email that the Records Department received my request and that they will update me with a status later. And they did. About a week later, I received an email that my request was complete and I needed to log into my provider's website using my user account. There, I was able to view and download the records just the way I requested them in the PDF file. In this format, you're now able to view, print all or selected pages, and send them to your home printer, or perhaps send or upload them to a third party such as your law firm, the VA, or any other third party. You have choices. Now you have to enter the requested dates for your record search and retrieval. Be as specific as you can. If this field is left blank, there could be a default period of the search. Some providers, such as mine, may guard some record types even more than others. Genetic testing, mental health, etc. can be marked for exclusion from a standard record request, so keep that in mind. You may have this option, which can be a good thing. Other than that, mark those record types that are needed for your particular situation. Your form will have an expiration authorization in most cases. In the case of this form, the default is 1 year from the signed date. A field to state the purpose of your request will more than likely be listed along with the notice of fees. Simply state your reasons, and if applicable, fees will be applied. And lastly, your signature and date. Your request will not be implemented without these two items. Once completed, you are more than likely done with your request and ready to submit to the provider. See, I told you it's not that complicated. Now, I will show you my completed form with some text for obvious reasons redacted. Well, I hope you got a lot of information from this tutorial, but if you get nothing else from me, please keep the following bullet points in mind. This is more for our U.S. veterans than anyone else, but if the Veterans Administration gives you the choice of getting your own records or get them yourself, you get them. I cannot stress that enough. If the VA attempts to get them, it could take months, and if they have problems, you don't want to wait months to get a letter from the VA that they could not retrieve them. I got my records within 3 weeks and in a format that I could submit to the VA to support my own claim. But the choice is ultimately yours. The format to get your records in if you have choices. I would recommend getting it in a PDF format, especially if your medical records consist of many visits spanning years, consisting of lab reports, x-rays, etc. That PDF file or files will more than likely fit on a single USB drive or CD disk. Then you can print your desired pages, or all of them, on your home printer or take to a local FedEx or OfficeMax shop, library, etc. If you limit yourself to just stacks of paper, you are just restricted. You may need to make several copies of each stack prior to handing them over to someone. Then, more than likely, they will have to make copies, or worse, get scanned into a PDF format. Well, people make mistakes, and the end result is that your desired reasons for getting the records in the first place will be incomplete. When I was working, for a long time I didn't have a home printer or scanner. For the occasional need, I used to put my documents on a CD, a USB drive, or email them to myself, then later retrieve them on my work computer and print my documents on one of the many printers that were available to me. I know that not everyone has this environment. Simply make use of the resources available to you and or what you can afford. If fees are applicable, don't let that deter you from getting whatever records are needed. If you need them, you need them, period. Veterans, if you need these records for a current or future VA claim, don't let any fees get in the way of completing your claim. Focus on the end goal. The end goal, or the prize for you, is a closed claim with a high rating. That high rating could equate to hundreds or thousands of dollars a month and a lump sum in the case of any applicable back pay. That would truly offset any document fees that you may encounter. Well, that wraps up this tutorial. I hope you got something from it, and I hope it will help your experience go a lot smoother. Thanks again, and for those fellow veterans out there, I know you hear this a lot, but thank you for your service.